A new development in the search for a suitable spot for a temporary shelter village. Good evening, I'm Ryan Bonazzo. Thank you for joining us. The property at 114 Miles Street is back on the table as city administration's recommended site. The south side location was initially proposed last November, but was scrapped due to pushback from nearby business owners. Council spent months looking at other locations, including on Cumberland Street and Fort William Road, before ultimately landing on Cam River Heritage Park. But that site was dropped last month after risk management costs were found to be too high. This latest staff recommendation also asks that an eye on the street camera be added in the Miles and Simpson Street area, and that $125,000 be added to the Fort William Business Improvement Association's annual budget. City Council will discuss the matter next Monday, and city officials are having a news conference tomorrow to provide more details. Officials with the United Steelworkers are questioning Impala Canada's decision to shut down the Lakehead mine next year. The USW represents the majority of the 750 employees at the Palladium Mine, located about an hour north of Thunder Bay. The union says Impala told them last fall that there was no concern about the mine closing in the next 3 years, but now that's all changed. Jonathan Wilson reports.
The Lakehead mine, which has been operating since the late 1990s, will close for good in May of 2026. Officials with Impala Canada confirmed that to TBT News on Monday as they shared an email from CEO Tim Hill to Lakehead staff, letting them know the mine will continue operating with full staffing for 10 more months, at which point the closure plans will be put into motion. Hill blamed the move on low palladium prices over the past 3 years. Officials with the United Steelworkers were not available for an interview, but in a statement, USW staff rep Cody Alexander says this is very unfortunate news. Palladium prices are continuing to rise, and there is plenty of material left to process underground. The government needs to start looking into this to see if they can help, and we will be doing our part to inform them. Alexander goes on to say they had in-depth bargaining discussions with Impala last October and claims the company insisted there was no concern of the mine closing in the 3-year term of the contract. But now, 6 months later, the company is announcing a complete closure mid-contract. Alexander adds this management decision not only impacts their members, but it is going to have a ripple effect into all the surrounding communities around the Northwest. Jonathan Wilson, TBT News.
3 people, including 2 from Toronto, have been arrested and charged by Thunder Bay police following a major drug bust on the city's north side this week. Police executed a search warrant at a Gemstone Drive home yesterday. Officers found suspected cocaine and fentanyl worth over $300,000. They also seized other drug-related items and more than $5,000 in cash. The Toronto suspects, aged 24 and 26, along with a 39-year-old from Thunder Bay, face multiple drug trafficking charges. The suspects appeared in court today and remain in custody pending future court dates. The Port of Thunder Bay is seeing another impressive cargo shipping season. Port CEO Chris Heikkinen says grain volumes so far in 2025 are ahead of last year's pace, which was the best season in nearly 3 decades. Jaden Billick has the story.
The Thunder Bay Port Authority reported a very strong month gone by with promising volumes of grain, potash, and general cargo for the year to date. There was a 20% increase in grain shipments compared to June of last year, from 730,000 tons to 890,000. Port of Thunder Bay CEO Chris Heikkinen says it's been about 30 years since we've seen volumes like this at this time of the year.
So the grain volumes are really strong. This is due to a great crop on the prairies last year, and obviously markets buying this grain that are moving eastward through the supply chain, and so they're finding their way through Thunder Bay.
Heikkinen notes potash volumes also held strong in June. However, for the year to date, they dipped 7%, with the total shipments about 40,000 tons less than 2024. He says over the last number of years, there have been strong potash volumes, and last year was a record high for the port.
The potash is always hard to predict. It's a little more of a spot type of a commodity. We service primarily Brazil, actually, with the potash that's moving through Thunder Bay, and also to Europe. So it really just depends on the marketer of the product and where they're selling to.
Hakenin says it's all good news as the Port of Thunder Bay is currently ahead of the 2024 pace, which was the port's busiest since 1998. The total cargo so far this year is at 3.8 million tons, which is up 4% over this point last year. And port officials say so far there has been no negative impact from any tariffs from the U.S. Jaden Billick, TBT News.
The Canadian Lakehead exhibition has officially announced the return of the family fair this summer from August 6th to the 10th. Organizers are promising a fun-filled and memorable time for all. Ryan Graham has more.
The CLE launch event was held as a way to unveil this year's programs and entertainment lineup for the annual Family Affair, which is now in its 135th year. Organizers say they're bringing back all the popular amusement rides and tasty treats. They're also excited to be bringing in special musical guests to the CLE main stage, including the Northern Pikes, Carla Sacco, and tribute artists playing the songs of Taylor Swift and Queen.
Today's our kickoff to our fair. We've been planning this all year, and finally we got here, and along with other events happening in Thunder Bay, this is a big one, and it's always been 135 years. So it's great to put it on. We got some good music coming out of people that will surprise you. This Taylor story, she's just like Taylor Swift. She's got the voice.
Despite the numerous tariffs imposed by the U.S. on Canada, the CLE has adjusted this year and has focused on sourcing locally in all aspects of the fair, and organizers expect the same great turnout for all 5 days in early August.
People want to go to the fair. It's 135 years. It's here, and when I was a kid, I enjoyed it, looked forward, but I think you have the same nature of the people here. I think we're going to do good. We bring in 60,000 is a baseline. If we could put a smile on a person's face and have that carnival food eat, the candy apple, the popcorn, the candy floss, the corn on the cob, that's what fairs are about.
Advance tickets and ride passes are available at the Canadian Tire on Arthur Street and the Shoppers Drug Mart at McIntyre Centre, along with several other towns across the region. Ryan Graham, TBT News.
The Coalition for Waverley Park launched its summer concert series last night. The first band to take the stage was Mood Indigo. The weekly concert series is held around the Waverley Park Pavilion. Opening night welcomed more than 100 people for an evening of live music and great weather. The free concerts feature bands exclusively from the Thunder Bay Musicians Association, Local 591. There will be performances every Monday evening starting at 6:30 through the end of August.
We get great crowds. We're very fortunate to have wonderful weather on our first one. Sometimes it can be chilly, and it's just perfect weather tonight. This is also the 30th anniversary of the Coalition for Waverley Park, so it's a big year for us. Tonight, we're also very fortunate that we had an unveiling of a bench that was dedicated to the founding members of the Coalition for Waverley Park, in particular Ernie Epp and Bonnie Anderson. They are still on our board 30 consecutive years.
During the concerts, the Coalition will also accept non-perishable food donations for the RFDA. Well, the annual Teddy Bears Picnic had a much different look today. It was held indoors at Fort William Gardens instead of the usual Vickers Park location, as organizers were worried about rain in the forecast. And despite the new venue, hundreds of children and their families still came out with their favorite cuddly companions along for the ride. Jacob Hamilton was there.
We kind of made the call yesterday early in the day, and I think it was a good call to make, and so we were still able to put on the event.
Since 1983, families around Thunder Bay have attended the Teddy Bears Picnic, but this year, attendees filled Fort William Gardens for an indoor edition. Away from the usual Vickers Park location, but still on the south side, city events developer Karen Kadolf spoke about the decision to move the event indoors.
We did have to kind of pivot yesterday. We had a look at the radar and saw that it was supposed to rain all night and possibly today. And this event, we do have a rain location, which is Fort William Gardens. So we could easily kind of pivot into here and ensure that the event still went on. This is Teddy Bear's Picnic, which is one of our longest running events. And this is a really great event. Not only does it bring the community out to a really cute Teddy Bear's Picnic, but it also provides an opportunity for service providers, community groups to kind of connect with parents and with children, and so it's a really great opportunity to bring everybody together.
Among the usual food vendors, mini games, and other events, there was face painting provided by the Brick Warehouse. The company was also giving out their own teddy bears in collaboration with Sick Kids Hospitals and collecting donations for sick kids as well. The Brick's local manager, Joseph Wenzel, says it was on theme with the Teddy Bears Picnic.
You know what? We brought 200 bears. We hope that's enough, but we love the smiling faces on the kids when they get the bears, and of course the great work Sick Kids and the Children's Miracle Network does with those donations as well. We never get through the line. We face paint hundreds of kids every year. This is our second year doing it, and I don't know if we'll be able to get through all these kids, but it's a ton of fun, and our salespeople generously volunteer their time to do this as well.
With thousands attending Fort William Gardens for the 2025 edition of the Teddy Bears Picnic, it's safe to say that despite the switch from Vickers Park, this was still a great day for a picnic. Jacob Hamilton, TBT News.
Great to have a venue like the Fort William Gardens available at short notice. And Haley, it sounds like it was a good decision because as you were telling me a little bit ago, there was actually some rain around the noon hour. Yes. I didn't see it, but it was around.
Yeah, no, it was brief and it was light, but it did happen around noon to 1 in the afternoon. Predominantly on the south side of town, that's where our radars catch things. So if you didn't see it in the north side, that could be why. But yes, we did see periodic showers, not only between noon and 1, but also very early in the morning. I'd say overnight to early morning hours. That's between 1 a.m. and 4 a.m. That's also when we saw our low for the day of 13, which is seasonal for this time of year. Well, actually a little warmer than seasonal, but not too bad for a low for the early morning hours. We didn't rise very much, though. We did get 1 degree warmer than we were predicting. We thought we'd get a high of 17. So far, we've seen a high of 18. And we were mostly cloudy as well. So yes, not the greatest for an outdoor picnic, but hey, all those kids still can say that they had a picnic in the gardens. So that adds to some of the imagination of it all, if you ask me. Now, when we take a look at our radar map, we can see that brief period where some showers brush past the area. For the most part, it has moved eastward. And so when we look at our region at this hour, for the most part, we're looking drier now. Areas like Red Lake had a completely dry day. They're still experiencing smoky conditions, though, predominantly in their morning hours. They had a high of 27 today. The Humidex made it feel like 29. And for the most part, a mix of sun and cloud to areas to the west. Now, Fort Frances, they did feel the Humidex a little stronger today. They had a high of 25, but their Humidex made it feel like 29 as well. So just that little extra push, and they are seeing mainly clear skies at this hour. Now, areas like Atikokan, Uppsala, and Armstrong, they had cloudier situation today, making it a little cooler. They're all at 19 right now. And I know areas further north, like Sioux Lookout, did see some showers extending further into their morning hours as well. So it took a little bit for them to warm up, but luckily Sioux Lookout's at 24 right now, very comfortable. Across the way, though, in Greenstone, they've been pretty consistently cloudy throughout the day. They're just at 15 right now. They did have a high of 19 earlier in the day, though, and they had a brief pop-up shower in the afternoon as well. Then we see Nipigon and Marathon both matching at 18. The nice thing today is almost everywhere across the region had fairly calm winds today, mainly from the east in most areas. So nothing too extreme. If it was cloudy, it was still fairly comfortable. In Wawa, they're at 14 right now, but earlier today they saw a high of 21, so still warming up into the 20s. And Sault Ste. Marie's at 23 right now, mostly cloudy. They've been mostly cloudy for majority of the day. Now for Thunder Bay tonight, we'll drop down to 9, which is what I would prefer actually. I know Double-digit lows for overnight is still normal for this time of year, but a nice 9 can be very comfortable at this time of year. Partly cloudy skies, but we will continue to clear our clouds as the night goes on. However, there is a slight chance of some fog patches popping in and popping out. But once again, very calm winds from the east. So should be a comfortable night. And Ryan, we are in for a very lovely day tomorrow as well. So I can't wait to tell you more about that later.
Okay, I can't wait. Thanks a lot, Haley.